Hey everybody, today's words to live by are: I really think a champion is defined not by their wins, but by how they can recover when they fall. And those words are spoken by Serena Williams. She should know, of all people, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, female tennis player on the planet ever. And I think what her point is that champions aren't perfect, they're persistent. And I look at her journey to the top of the game, and it wasn't like she snapped her fingers one day and then 15 years later she just sort of landed on top of the game with um, dozens of Grand Slam titles and number one rankings and the whole thing. Along her journey, she lost. She lost in finals of Grand Slam. She lost in early round matches in various other tournaments. So it was not an easy ride by any means. I'm not speaking for her, but I'm taking a pretty educated guess that there were some challenges along the way. And probably what she's referring to in this quote is just the persistence of trying to get back up every time you get knocked down. And I think for all of us, there's great wisdom in this. We don't have to be the greatest in something in the world in history like she is. But I think the times, at least in my life, which is much more of an average life compared to hers, I look back not with some pride at what I achieved and some of my accomplishments, but absolutely the things that I look back on the most in terms of just pride and a source of happiness and sort of accomplishment are the times when I was knocked down, or I was beaten in a tennis match, or I was fired from a job, or I got into bad health and the whole cycles of addiction 8 years ago, and then coming back from that. And so it's always just about the comeback in terms of like, wow, that is a champion mentality. And I think if you were to take your own life, in terms of thinking about the times when you've had to sort of struggle and then get through that struggle and then where you ended up in a good way, I think you probably have some of those examples and circumstances in your own life where you sort of said, well, I could have thrown in the towel on that, but I'm glad I didn't. I stuck through it and I was persistent, and I was defined more by how I recovered from the fall than the actual fall itself, right? And so I think the champion mentality there from her, and I think her advice to everybody is great. And I think when you do get knocked down, remembering pieces of wisdom like this, so that you can envision what it looks like as you get up off the ground and you raise yourself up, I think is immensely helpful, and it's motivational, and it helps to sort of think about this as the greatest in the entire world at something have gotten knocked down before, and the difference is that they get up again and again and again. And so I think that's what we should try to emulate in our lives. That's certainly what I've tried to do through the years, and I'll continue to. So I hope you found some benefit from these words of wisdom from Serena Williams and my commentary. And if you did, please like and or subscribe, and I will see you all again soon.